Hello, fellow drinkers at the Jolly Heretic, resident poet here, and a hello again to those of us joining from History Debunked. Now, first of all, a roundup of Ed's Quick Pint series this week. Now, first of all, he treated us to a little clip on the psychological benefits of swearing and how it can aid your pain threshold and things like that. So that prompted me to write a quick poem. It seems a bit devil-may-care, but it's true, we need a good swear. When feeling quite sour, it's a boost to our power and more fun than learning a prayer. So hopefully you enjoy that. And then in very sad news this week, there was a case of a man in Epsom who very tragically killed his wife and daughter and then also killed himself. And Ed produced a little video on the sort of person who would do that in terms of their life history strategy, which I thought was very interesting. Murder, then self-immolation, quite rightly do shock the whole nation. This happened in Surrey and gives cause for worry, a sign of our further stagnation. So I hope most of you caught Ed's stream last night, where he had on two young gentlemen who, one was a recent graduate of a UK university, the other was a current undergraduate, I believe, and they told us about the realities of what life was like at modern universities in terms of free speech. And both of them were members, current or former, of secret societies that they'd had to set up because the university didn't particularly like the nature of those societies. But I thought it was interesting to get a bird's eye view of what life was really like for undergraduates in these benighted times. And as always, it prompted me to write a quick poem. Our guests cause the woke some anxiety. They have formed a secret society. Free speech for certain has gone for a burden, replaced with mere hand-wringing piety. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And now we're going to move on to History Debunked, as always. And Simon produced a video where he revisited one of his earlier clips a few weeks back, where apparently a film wasn't nominated for an award because of the terrible European male patriarchy. And since then, another lady has come out complaining along very, very similar lines. And it prompted me to write a quick poem. Race, it comes up once more. At the Oscars, it's hard to ignore. But has anyone thought that the film lacked support because it was simply just poor? So food for thought there. And another video that Simon produced this week was on the subject of Viking Museum in York in England, who have portrayed an exhibition of Vikings in a, how should we put it, less than traditional manner, in a manner which most of us would find a bit unusual. And it prompted me to write a bit of verse on that. The Norsemen from those days of yore did pillage and revel in gore, but it seems such a man did pick up a tan. I wonder what else is in store. So we'll see what else comes up. And finally from Simon this week, he alerted our attention to how our Minister, Rishi Sunak, had resorted to posing in an RAF pilot's uniform to detract from his domestic difficulties, something that a lot of politicians try every now and again when they want to divert attention away from how things are actually going. Sunak, his latest new guise. He posed as an ace of the skies. When seeing such stunts performed by these people, a tiny wee piece of me dies. So that was my little rhyme on that. Speaking of things aeronautical and indeed plane related, it does remind me of a funny story. And please remember, that's all it is, a funny story. So there's this Aer Lingus flight on its way back from a pilgrimage to Lords back to Knock Airport in Ireland. And the passengers comprise about 30 nuns and one very, very young priest. And they're up in the air, and after about an hour or so, there's an announcement over the tannoy, and the stewardess says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've got some very grave news. Unfortunately, the pilot and the co-pilot have recently been taken very, very ill indeed, and all I want to know is there anybody on the plane who has some flying experience? Please do come up to the front." And obviously all the nuns start panicking, of course, and the priest, the very young priest, thinks to himself, oh my goodness, I actually don't have any flying experience, but we've all got to keep calm, and I just must have to go up there. And he offers up a quick prayer to God, gets up out of his seat and says to the stewardess, Okay, I've got some flying experience now. What do you need me to do? And the stewardess says, oh, thank God, Father. Thank God you've come forward. Come with me into the cockpit. And the stewardess gets on the radio to air traffic control to explain what's going on. And then the air traffic control people ask to be put through to the priest. And the guy says, now then, Father, this is very vital information. I want you to reply with as much information and accuracy as you can. This is vital. And the priest says, okay, right so. And then the air traffic control people say, what is your height and position? And the priest thinks for a minute and then quick as a flash says, my height and position, I'm 5'8" and I'm sitting right at the front of the plane. So hopefully you enjoyed that little story there. Apologies to Finola, of course, my most prolific Irish viewer. So that was just a roundup from me today of the Jolly Heretics output and that of History Debunked. If you did enjoy it, please do like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see each other very soon. Goodbye.